I was asked a great question. When do you use gerunds, singing, laughing, playing? And when do you use infinitives, to sing, to laugh, to play? And you already know the answer. The answer is English is crazy. And the rules aren't very helpful because there's so many rules for the same thing, and there's so many exceptions to the rules. We're looking for patterns. We're looking for the way that people use the language. And that's what we do, we English teachers, when we create grammars. We look at patterns. Well, what do I say? What does my friend say? What did it say in the newspaper this morning? And what did it say in the newspaper 100 years ago? And we collect these patterns of how people have used the language, and then we say, well, that's what the language is. It's just looking. So you and I, if we don't know something, we can look to and we can make a grammar. We can find that pattern. So let's try. Let's find a pattern with gerunds and infinitives. Let's make our own rules because those are the ones we'll understand the best. Come on. To look for patterns, to find rules and create our own grammar, first we need to collect a lot of examples. So I've got tons of sentences here. I've got gerund sentences and infinitive sentences. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into two big piles. My gerund pile and my infinitive pile. And then I'm going to look and see, why are some sentences using infinitives and why are some sentences using gerunds? So one thing I notice is gerunds show up at the beginning of sentences. So gerunds can be the subjects of sentences, but infinitives can't. I'm going to see sometimes there are some verbs where I can use either one. Dream is one. I can use my dream is to fly or my dream is flying. And I'm going to keep organizing this way. And I'll wind up with something like this. Two long verb lists. Verbs that like gerunds, go, suggested, and verbs that like infinitives, want and hope. A few other patterns will show up. Gerunds tend to be the subject of sentences, and gerunds are what I almost always see after a preposition, at, laughing, into, playing, of, singing. There are a few verbs that take either one, dream, like, and love. I love flying, I love to fly. And there are some verbs where I can use a gerund or an infinitive, but they have different meanings. She stopped playing and she stopped to play mean the opposite thing. She stopped playing means she was playing, and then she stopped, she had to do something else. She stopped to play means she was doing something else, and she stopped doing that. Maybe she stopped studying to take a break and to play, which is always a good idea. We don't want to study all the time. We need to relax. But we also need to study. Well, we need to learn. You did study before. You studied a lot of these things about gerunds and infinitives in school, and you didn't really learn them because you were studying for a test. You weren't learning for yourself. And if you look for an easy answer, you go online and look for a list of gerunds. When do I use a gerund and when do I use an infinitive? You're going to find some very long lists. You're going to have to memorize them. And memorizing lists will make you hate reading, and your brain's going to take that information and put it somewhere where you put things you hate, and you're not going to really learn this. What we want to do is we want to use our intelligence to create knowledge, and then we'll be proud of what we know, and we'll be sure of what we know, and we'll really be able to use it. So we're going to make our own rules and make our own minds, and that will make us smart, intelligent, creative. And when we do that, we have to keep checking. As long as the English language is alive, the language will change. So we need to read English, listen to English, and speak in English, and watch. See if our patterns are always correct. See if we need to change our rules, and we will need to change our rules. There will be exceptions to our rules. But that's fun. That's exciting. It never gets boring. There's always something new. There's always something new to learn, and we are smart and intelligent people, and we can learn it. And when we learn something new, we can use that to create more information, to create better English for ourselves. So let's get out there and let's keep learning.